Yeah! I can't say that this is what I had in mind when I called our kingdoms together to work out a peace treaty. But I would be lying if I didn't think it would end this way. Gods, is there really no way to have a nice civil meeting without someone plotting an assassination? I even offered them rooms to rest in before the meetings were to start. Yet they chose to try killing us instead. Though I have to give credit where credit is due. When Cetrus decides to send assassins after you, they send the best they have. Ruthless, truly. Cetrus, ruler of Rothero, the one we were supposed to make a peace treaty with tonight? Good gods above, you are as awful with names and titles as ever. Did you even bother to learn the names of the nobility of the other kingdoms before you came to this meeting? Fuck. No, it's nothing. Just a scratch. Are you all right? You're sure? No major injuries? Me? Where am I? Ah. Well, that is quite a bit of blood. Well, how could I? I was too busy fighting off assassins to notice that I'd been cut. At the moment, that seemed to be a much more pressing matter. You say it as if we didn't have any injuries when we were waywards. There's no need to look so suspicious. There's no one around to hear us. Yes, because I'm sure that Rothero sent spies for after the assassination. As if they have any need to gather any more information. You noticed it too, I trust. From the way they spoke, it was as if they knew more than they should. And not just about my past. They knew about you and the twice dead being waywards. And that is what worries me more. Because no one has managed to figure out your past, but Cetrus seems to know nearly everything about us. More than anyone besides another wayward should ever know. Now, with such a blatant act of violence towards both our kingdoms, I'm worried that I might know what's caused such a sudden strike. Well, before I tell you that, perhaps we should continue this conversation in my bedchambers. Not in that sense, Bright Blade. I've just happened to notice that I'm not the only one with blood soaking through my clothes, and I have tools to fix that in my chambers. What, and wake the physician at this hour? There's no point in that. We used to fix injuries worse than this for each other on a near daily basis. It'll be simple enough to do it again. Unless, of course, you think your skills have dulled after all this time. Then let them sleep for tonight. My room isn't far. Do you think you can make it? Well, I thought it would be polite to ask, given how evident the stab wound in your leg is. If you insist. Come on, then. Before you lose too much blood, pass out in the hall. Fine, before either of us pass out in the hall. Though you seem much closer to losing consciousness than I am. Fuck! Was it really necessary to elbow me? I'm already bleeding. It's not as if I need another bruise to add to tonight's collection of injuries. Quit laughing, you menace. I'm about to tend your wounds, and this is how you repay me. That was simply revenge. An eye for an eye, as they say. You should have expected at least some retaliation. Save it for another time, Bright Blade. We can duel this out after we've sewn each other up and cleared out the assassins' bodies. I'm full of good ideas, as you should well know. Recovering from an assassination attempt before a friendly spar just happens to be one of them. I'm glad we're in agreement. I'll show you to my room, if you'll follow me. That is, if you can. This is why I asked if you could walk. That's no shallow cut, and walking will only agitate it more. You know that. Could you just put your pride down and... Fine then. Keep up. I'm not waiting for you. Stubborn as all the hells per usual. Just let me help you. That wasn't a question. There we are. See? That's easier, isn't it? Oh, please, it's not as if this is the first time we've done this. Why are you so up in arms about me helping you this time? Fine, stay silent. Just as you always do. I'm saying that you don't communicate well, especially when it comes to anything that involves emotion. Anything that involves your emotions, then. You can't always ignore your own feelings. You're not just some weapon to be constantly held at the ready. You're a person. A person with a mind and a heart that I know very well. I knew you well before you were the bright blade, and I know that you do have feelings. I've held you while you wept, weathered the storm of your rage, felt the warmth of your joy. I've seen your face express every emotion that has a name, and even more that I could never begin to describe. You can't tell me that your feelings are something so easy to push aside, when I know how strong they are. Stronger than your feelings. Of course, that's how you would choose to see it. You don't need to glare at me. I didn't mean anything bad by it. I was just saying that it's obvious that you have that sort of mindset. Of course I don't agree with it. I absolutely detest it. But I didn't say it with the intention to insult you. You're joking, surely. Of course emotions are important. They're what make us who we are. Well, if you want to approach it from a philosophical standpoint. Some other time, then. For now, let's just agree to disagree. I think that we should probably deal with the matters of tonight first. It was certainly more of a bloodbath than I was hoping for. And the fact that Rothero's assassins knew so much about the Waywards does little to set my mind at ease. Speaking of which, I have a theory on why those assassins knew so much. First, let me get started on treating your leg. I'll tell you once we've begun. Wait here. I'll get the supplies. In the meantime, use your dagger and cut the fabric around the area off so it doesn't catch on the injury and... Right. My apologies. I'm forgetting myself. You already know what to do. I'll be back in just a moment. This should be everything we need. May I see your leg? Mine isn't as deep as yours. It can wait. I'd rather make sure you don't bleed out first. Then I'll make this quick. Lucky for both of us, being the head of a kingdom has allowed me access to some incredibly helpful supplies. Such as This. It's a very helpful salve that also numbs the area. Now move your leg closer. Let me see it. By the gods, this is worse than I thought. It starts lower on the thigh than I assumed, but you're cut all the way down to your ankle. Is this the only injury you have? Good. Let me clean off as much blood as I can before I try to use any of the salve. You're lucky this isn't too deep. Otherwise, we actually would need to wake the physician. Taking a hit like this. Are you getting rusty, Bright Blade? Imagine what all the others would say. The strongest swordsman of the Waywards, getting soft as the right hand of the ruler of Losoria. Though, from the looks of it, at least one of them may already know. What I'm suggesting is, there may be someone outside the three of us who has figured out who you and the Twice Dead are. Yes, really. That can be the only explanation. I've told no one, and I know you wouldn't have told anyone. The Twice Dead, as much as I might not favor them, would never betray anyone's trust like that. The only other reason someone would know who we were is if they were a wayward. As a matter of fact, I already have a suspect in mind. For the past few years, there's been rumors of Cetrus having an assassin as their right hand, and many think that they seem particularly close. Given the supposed skill set of the assassin, I reckon that they're more familiar than I had first assumed. So you know the title of the rumored assassin that aids Rothero's crown, but not the name of the crowned ruler himself. You're unbelievable. Turn your leg a bit. No, towards me. Good. Right there. Hold it just like that. I'm going to start with the sutures. But yes, I believe that the Forest Heart is actually one of our former friends, though I can't say which. Oh, then who are you thinking of? Ilsias? You really think they could be Cetrus's assassin? It does make sense, now that you've said it. They share a similar skill set, from what I've heard. And if I recall, Ilsias was born on the edge of Rothero. It's likely that after the disbandment, they returned to their home. But that does little to ease my mind. If anything, I'm more worried now than I was prior to suggesting tonight's meeting. This isn't just an attack on our kingdoms. It's an attack from someone who knows far more about us than we do about them. Tonight was meant to be a clean way to dispose of us. But the fact that we lived won't deter them. Far from it. This was an act that will lead to war. And once word gets back to Rothero, I have no doubt that it will become only a matter of time before everything is set in motion. Agreed. If we can act before word gets back to them, then we have a better chance than we would just sitting like idle birds waiting for sunrise. The Forest Heart's identity is something I'd like to know, but my concern lies more with getting into the kingdom and what we would do afterwards. It's difficult to invade a kingdom, even more so to invade a castle, and kill the ruler and their knights, guards, and assassins. Oh? Any ideas? Well, don't think too hard. I'm almost done bandaging your leg, and then it'll be your turn to return the favor. I don't need you getting distracted and doing more damage than the assassins. I suppose I should be careful about the jokes I make right now, shouldn't I? It might not be the wisest idea to taunt the person who is about to stab me repeatedly with a needle. Maybe so. But I can't help it. It's easier to try and ease this tension than to suffer from the weight of the inevitable. Either way, the war will find us. And if I'm to play a role in fighting it, then I'll need this lovely little injury of mine fixed. So, if you'd please, would you mind trading places with me so we can be done with this? Wonderful. Now just give me a moment. This shirt is so damn tight that I don't want to attempt cutting it off. So I'm going to try removing my shirt enough that you'll be able to access the full length of the cut. I think that if I move slowly, I can undo the first few buttons and slide it down over my shoulder without making it worse. There. Will that be enough? Good. Then whenever you're ready to begin, I'm at your mercy. Though I'd prefer if your mercy did include some of the salve. It's not that I thought you wouldn't use it. I just merely felt like it would do me well to remind you that you can use it. You're not exactly known to be the gentle type. I'm just stating a fact. You aren't Lasoria's greatest healer, after all. Hells! You're proving my point exactly. How do you find a way to apply numbing medicine in a way that hurts? Well, you have a talent for it. At least I won't be able to feel the sutures. Already? Truly? What's this plan, then? It's quite a unique plan, but I believe that it could work. Actually, it could be perfect if we play it right. Only kill Cetrus and leave Ilsias to deal with it. Either everyone will turn on the infamous Forest Heart and blame them for Cetrus's death, or we'll elect another ruler in Cetrus's place. If the latter of those happens, then Ilsias will either have to serve the new crown, or will be unwilling to do so and leave the kingdom completely. Obviously, it will be difficult to infiltrate the kingdom and get Cetrus alone, but that's nothing we've not done before as waywards. Though I'm curious about how much of a challenge it will be to fight Cetrus. From all the rumors, the title of Champion of the Sun was one that Cetrus fought to earn. Right. First would be the infiltration. What did you have in mind in those regards? The way you're speaking right now makes me think that you intend to complete this assassination alone. No. By the gods, no. You are not going to attempt to kill Cetrus alone. Because it's dangerous. If you were to go alone and get caught, there would be no one to help you escape. You could die there, and not a single soul would have realized it until it was too late. I'm going with you, and I won't accept anything else. As much as I trust my knights and assassins, I'm not sending any of them with you. They may be skilled, but when faced with the likes of the Champion of the Sun and the Forest Heart, you need someone more practiced at your side. I don't care that I'm the Queen of Concurious. That doesn't matter. We can tell the people that I'm visiting someone in another kingdom, something like that. No, I will go with you, and that's final. Because they can't protect you as well as I can. You know why? Because because I know you better than anyone. I fight alongside you like no one else can. And having me at your side is the only way that this is certain to end in a way that serves both of our kingdoms well. I'm not doubting your skill, but you know that having me to watch your back will make it much easier to do what needs to be done. Having a partner doesn't mean you are weak. It just means that you have someone who you can rely on should you need to. You'd think that after all those years as waywards that you would have learned that. Oh, am I now? And why is that? Do you think I'm not as good as you? Is that it? Do you think I've gotten weak from sitting on a throne? Do you think I can't keep up with you? Then why exactly is it that you think I can't be your partner? Why wouldn't it work? My emotions. And since when have you had any regard for my emotions? As far as I've seen, you couldn't care less about how I feel. So why should that be so important to you now? Of course I still love you. Do you really think that asking that same question every time you see me will change anything? Oh, so now you're telling jokes. What, are you trying to relieve the tension too? Or are you trying to avoid this conversation altogether? Trying to avoid telling me why you can't stand the fact that I have feelings for you? No, I deserve to know. The very moment I said those words to you, you changed. The way you looked at me, it was like some sort of spell was cast on you. It was as if everything about you that saw me as a long-known friend, as someone you knew and trusted all those years. It was as if all of that suddenly disappeared. You looked at me like I was a stranger. It was as if merely hearing me say those words made me a different person to you. A person who you hated. Is it truly so horrible that I have feelings for you? Then why are you so cold to me? Why do you reject me like I'm some sort of fool who has only known you for a night before claiming to love you? I'm not using my words lightly when I tell you that I love you. I'm not expecting you to return my feelings, and certainly not to the same degree. But there's no reason for you to dismiss me so goddamn cruelly. Of course, things are different now. I realize that. But a crown doesn't have anything to do with this. Of course I try to protect you. It's what we've always done. Why does that bother you so much now? The only thing that has changed since then is our titles. How could it be so different? So what if I am a queen? Being royalty doesn't negate the fact that I want to protect you and will do anything in my power to do so. Even if that means setting aside my responsibilities for a while. Reckless. Again with that word. You say it every time I ask for a reason for anything. I'm too reckless to lead my kingdom. Too reckless to have the power I have. Too reckless to want to protect anything. It's like you use that word in place of my name. What is it about me wanting to protect you that is so horribly reckless? I would, in a heartbeat, and I don't care what you think about it. There are other people that can manage Concurious in my stead, but there is no one that can protect you as well as I can. I'd drop everything. My crown, my kingdom, my sword, everything, so I could save you. It doesn't matter the circumstances. I will always come to your side, and I couldn't care less if that makes me reckless. Because I love you. I've said it time and time again, and yet you still brush it off as if it can't mean what it does. Then why do those words upset you so much? Is that why you refuse to consider having something more with me? Do you think that I'd be so careless with your heart that I would break it? Because I swear to you that I would never allow myself to do something like that. If not that, then what is it? You won't lose me. I swear it. There is nothing in this world that could pull me from your side. No. I suppose I can't promise you that. I've said many times that I'd die for you. And I mean that with every ounce of my being. I can't promise you that I wouldn't put my life on the line to save yours should it come to that. I'm so terrified of losing you that I'd gladly die in your place. And you're terrified of losing me because I'd do exactly that. Worse yet, I know that you would push me out of the way and accept my death as your own, should our roles be reversed. How ironic. The reason that I try to pull you closer is the same reason that you push me away. The way we try to protect each other only hurts us even more, doesn't it? What a star-crossed pair we make. At least now I have a reason as to why you've rejected my feelings. And I understand completely. Though, might I say something? Trying to avoid me and push me away isn't going to make my feelings for you go away. All it's doing is hurting both of us. And yes, I know I've been a bit spontaneous with my advances towards you. Yes, I know. Asking for your hand in marriage at the masquerade so suddenly was perhaps not the wisest idea, and I can admit to that. All right, yes, the letters requesting that you come visit me may have been a bit much, I'll admit. But it felt so long since we'd last met, and I wanted to see you again. I know, and I knew it was unlikely, but I still had to try. Imagine my surprise when I got word that you would be coming in the Twice Dead's place. Oh, what's this now? From the way you said that, it sounds like you were the one who chose to come here, rather than the Twice Dead deciding to send you. You did? That's quite a surprise, albeit a pleasant one. But that begs the question of why you wanted to come. Is it possible that you missed me too? Could that be it? Wait a second. That look on your face. You did miss me, didn't you? That's not a no, my dear Bright Blade. Rather, that almost sounds like it could be a yes. And if it is, gods be good. Are you saying that you did miss me? Well, of course I'm smiling. Hearing you say that is quite... Well, it's not what I expected in the least. No, it's not that. I simply didn't expect you to say it so. Genuinely. It's different, but not unfamiliar. It reminds me of how you used to talk to me all those years ago. I missed it dearly. I miss so much of us and what we used to be. All the traveling for days on end while sharing idle chatter. The many hours spent training together and bickering all the while. I even missed the nights afterwards, trying to sleep on those cots in the medic's tent after bandaging each other up. Oh, I hadn't realized you were done. Though I probably should have. You've always tied bandages too tight. Feels like you're trying to make them as tight as my own skin. It really does feel just like it did back then, doesn't it? Though, rather than the cold, damp medic's tent, we now have the warmth of a castle. Though my warmth could also be attributed to being so close to you, if I'm being truthful. Flirting? I would never. I'm merely stating that, due to the nature of helping with each other's injuries, we're fairly close together. That wasn't my way of saying you should move away from me. In fact, I'd like it if you'd stay. Right here. Well, yes, you could call it that. But it's not so much flirting as it is honesty. Yes, honesty. Given what you know about me, does that seem like something I would lie about? It's not as if I've been able to hide my feelings from you. Certainly not after our fun little meeting in your dungeon. Of course. Ask me anything. I'll answer honestly. If I'm to be completely honest, then what I want right now is for you to stay the night with me. I want nothing more than to sleep next to you again, and to know that you are safe at my side, and that I am safe at yours. Yes, really. If I were to ask for anything in the world to have at this exact moment, that is the only thing that I would say. Then what is it that you want? If you could have anything in the world right now, what would you ask for? You. Do you mean that? Do you really want the same? Yes. I mean, yes, I'm more than all right with that. If you mean it, then I would be more than happy to have you sleep here. I can't tell you what that would mean to me. This night certainly has taken a turn for the better. Well, if a peace treaty wasn't destined to work, then I'd say that this is the best possible outcome. Ugh, let's not think of that right now. Cleaning up corpses can wait for tomorrow. Finally, we're on the same page for once. So why don't we sleep for now? And we can save cleaning up bodies, preventing a war, and our deceptively complex relationship for tomorrow. Agreeing on more than one thing in an hour. That must be a record. And now you want to get me under the covers with you. My God's bright blade. We aren't officially courting yet. All right, I'll quit joking. But only because I'm tired, cold, and would very much like to go to bed and not have to think for a while. Fine, I'll admit that I was flirting. After losing as much blood as we have, it doesn't matter how warm the fire is. I'm still cold. You can feel free to tease me now. I've been caught brazenly flirting with the person I've been in love with for years. How scandalous. Too tired. Too tired? Why, I believe that this might be the first time that I've ever seen you too tired to poke fun at me. What a miraculous occasion. You must truly be exhausted beyond compare. That I can agree to. Even I'm getting tired of my jokes, and you know how much I love to hear myself talk. And let's go to bed and call the day done. Would you like to get under the covers? I promise I won't make any more jokes. Yes, I swear. Excellent. I promise it'll be much warmer. It is. It's much better than shaking and trying to sleep without covers. I know. It's so easy to fall asleep here. Especially after all the events of today. It's odd. The assassination attempt was somehow the least stressful part of the day. Our conversation was more exhausting by far. Well, injuries are predictable at this point. Emotions are far more difficult. Then, before this awfully stressful day is over, could I ask one more thing of you? I suppose that depends on what something annoying would be. Why don't I just ask, and you tell me if it's something that you would call annoying? Let me hold your hand. Just for the night. Why else? Because I love you and want to hold you close. I know, and I'm all right with that. That's why I only ask to hold your hand, and for nothing more. I might like to kiss you, but I won't ask for more than you will give. For you, of course, I'm happy to compromise. So you'll let me then? Even if it's just for tonight? You know, lying here and holding your hand like this, it makes me feel at peace in a way. Like I'm holding the entirety of the universe in my grasp. And it's all because I know that you're here beside me. Fine, fine. Then I guess I'll have to wait until you're asleep before I begin my romantic ramblings. It certainly wouldn't be the first time. Certainly not. I've spewed many sappy thoughts about how your eyes look by the light of fire, or how your smile captivates me. No, there's no reason to go stealing the sheets from me when I was just answering your question. Then you'll just have to fall asleep so you don't hear me. Of course. I don't mind in the least if you rest your head on my shoulder. But just so long as you know that it will make me much happier than it should. And I'll be smiling while I speak of my love for you. By all means, go ahead. Just let me know when you're asleep, so I know when my obnoxious rambling won't keep you awake. Oh, I promise that I will. You're an incredibly restless sleeper, and many times, my only sign that you were asleep was receiving an unnecessary kick to my shin. Sure. Just don't push me off the bed in your sleep. Okay, my beloved? Then hurry up and fall asleep. I'm getting restless. Good night to you as well. I hope your dreams are restful, and that my sickly sweet poetry ruins any peace you might find